I don't think today's the day to discuss that. I think, I think 24 hours before a massive Champions League game, I don't think anyone should really be talking about their future. We've got such a massive game ahead of us, and I know it's a boring answer, Vinny, and I can only apologise for that. But it's my full focus, has been a part of this team is trying to get through tomorrow night. We've obviously gave ourselves an uphill battle, and I think full focus has to be on that. And there'll be time to talk about my future, but I'm not sure today's that day. It's a frustration. I think we're all frustrated at the fact that we can't find the consistency, because last season that's probably what set us apart from everyone in the league. That's why we ended up winning the league pretty comfortably, and it's hard to put your finger on why we've not been able to get that consistency this season. So it's been a huge frustration for all of us. We've all been trying to put our finger on it, we've all been trying to demand it, trying to keep working towards it, but for whatever reason we've not quite found it yet. And but we can't give up trying. We need to keep trying to fight through it. We need to try and keep finding that consistency, because that's the only way we can try and turn this season around. And I know time's running out, I know games are running out, but I suppose we've got a chance tomorrow night to get in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, which would be would obviously be good for us. And we're still in the FA Cup, and then we have to sort out our league form. That's a fact. But look, we won't give up on it. We'll keep trying to find the answers towards that, and hopefully we can find it sooner rather than later.
As you say,
I don't think we have concerns over that. The thing that was most disappointing was our fans left unhappy. That's I think since I've been here for 9 years now, our aim is always to be sending our fans home happy, because when they go bounding out Anfield, we know we've done our job. And I think in football that gives you the biggest satisfaction, that people are heading back into the pubs or back to their families that night happy with what they've seen on the pitch. And Sunday they weren't happy, and neither were we, and I can completely understand that. But in terms of tomorrow night, it doesn't worry me at all, because Anfield under the lights, our fans being in that stadium, they've been here before, and they'll be here many times in the future as well. And they always produce special nights. We've been very lucky to have so many over the years that have been here, and I don't think tomorrow night will be any different. But we have to give them something to shout about. We have to give them something to cheer. We have to give them something to get off their chairs and off their seats. And if we can do that, then we know the Liverpool fans react off that. It doesn't take them much, which is a credit to them. They cheer a lot of things, and even the basics. So they'll be right behind us tomorrow night, but we have to give them something to get behind. Yeah, of course, and that has to be the aim in terms of qualification, definitely. And with trophies, even when we were in amazing moments in 18-19 or 19-20, we never looked too far ahead. So we can't discuss if of course we have dreams of winning the trophies, but we have to focus on the next game ahead, and we've always worked at that. So tomorrow night's a massive game for us. We have to do everything we can to win that game, and then if we're in the quarterfinals, we'll focus on the quarterfinals and keep going like that. And that's always the way we've worked. But in terms of Champions League qualification, this club demands it. This club demands it. The fans demand it. Like we says, we've got such a good relationship with the Champions League, and this club has to be in the Champions League year in, year out. I think when I've been here, there's only been 1 year that we failed, and it was a difficult season. And hopefully that's not going to be the case this season. The Champions League's always been important to this football club, and obviously last season we failed at this hurdle, but I suppose we were protected at the fact that we were quite a bit ahead in the Premier League, and it looked as if this point last season that we were going to be champions. It was probably a matter of when, not if. This season we don't have that, so we believe that this squad's good enough to be in the last 8 of the Champions League, but we have to go and show it. I don't think we showed it enough last week. I thought we struggled at times all over the pitch, so the performance level has to go up, and we know that. And but if we do that, then I believe we're a good team on the day, and I think we've shown that this season. In the Champions League, we've had good performances, and we need to go and show that again. And if we do that, then I believe that we are good enough, and we can be in the last 8 of the Champions League. So it's a massive game, because it's the next game. The next game's always the biggest. but it's also a massive game because we believe that we can get through the tie, and we believe that we can go into the quarterfinals of Champions League, and you're a step further from achieving your dreams. So that's why it's massive, that's why it's big, and we're looking forward to it, and it's up to all of us to produce a good performance, and if we do that, then hopefully we send our fans a lot happier, home a lot happier than we did on Sunday.
Apologise to
Andy.
Yeah, look, obviously I don't think we really hit a bump in the road last year. Everything went probably as smoothly as you could have imagined in terms of his first season, but also in terms of our season. This season's been a bit more up and down, that's a fact, but he's stayed calm, he's obviously trying to find answers as well. Him and all the experienced lads were trying to put our finger on why the consistency's not been there, and he's probably trying to find it the most because obviously he's the manager and that's his job. So but he stayed calm, and he's trying to find the answers, and everyone's trying to help him, and we're all pushing in the same direction. But obviously the pressure's a bit bigger than all of us at the minute because the results aren't there, and that's football. You have to perform, you have to get the results, and when you don't get that, then the scrutiny's bigger. So I think he's obviously faced a bit more scrutiny than a lot more scrutiny than he did last year. So have us as players, and it's up to us to stand up to that. We're all good enough to be at Liverpool, and it's up to us to show that. And if we do that, then I'm sure we can turn the tide back towards the way we want it to go.
Adam.
Some of our performances have made it harder. I wouldn't say in terms of the style of play. I just think sometimes we've made, probably too many mistakes, or we've let the opposition get the first chance. And I think that's what's been the frustration probably within Anfield, and it's been the frustration on the pitch as well as in the stand. So it's not necessarily the style of play. It's just at certain games we've not been probably quite on it from minute one. I think tomorrow we have to be, especially in a knockout competition. I think you can't really waste any minutes really within the game, especially in a second leg. I think we've wasted a few minutes in the in the first leg, and that's why we're behind in the tie. But we've now got another 90 minutes at least to try and go and put it right, to go and try and win the game first and foremost, and hopefully get enough to win the game in 90 on aggregate. But if not, then you can go to extra time, you can go to penalties. But our full focus has to be winning the football game in 90 minutes, and then we'll take whatever comes to us, after that.
Beth?
Hi, Andy.
Yeah, it's a lot different. Look, obviously, even probably since I came to the club, social media and platforms within these, within these apps and things like that have got bigger and bigger and bigger. And as the experienced lads, we are pretty good at blocking it out. We've had years of practice of it. Maybe the younger players, haven't had that experience or the exposure to it. So we've tried to help them from the start of the season, and we've seen probably huge improvements in all of them in terms of, after the game, never getting too high, never getting too low. 1 week you can be, the best player in your position in the world. The next minute, everyone wants you out the club. That's the way football goes, and I think it's important for our younger players, our new players, and things like that to not try and listen to the outside noise as much, because we're all good players. We're at Liverpool Football Club for a reason, and it's up to us to show that on the pitch. But it's also, you can't get caught up in, we know what it's like, and you can't get caught up in it. And if you're Googling your name or you're searching your name or whatever, it's having these discussions with these lads saying, I think as humans work, you could read 99 nice things about you. You read one bad one, it's the one bad one that sticks with you. And that's what we've been trying to tell the young lads, and trying to keep them going on that, and trying to keep them, level the whole season. And I think we've seen massive improvements in that since the start of the season to now, and they'll only get better with age, and in terms of dealing with that, but also as footballers as well, which will help them massively as well. Yeah, of course. I think the one that comes to mind is obviously Barcelona. Now, we were 3-0 down that day and nobody gave us a chance. I think, a lot of people still give us a chance in this tie. So yeah, of course, you have to rely on your experience. You have to rely on lads that have, have been in this position before, because that's what's going to help us, you know. And then you obviously have the young lads and things like that maybe haven't experienced it, to bring that fresh energy and that no fear, and that's when you get, you know, the right balance within the squad. So tomorrow night's important that we show up the best version of ourselves, and if we do that as a team, then I believe we've got enough quality within our change room to win the game of football, and that's all we can focus on. Because with the aggregate score, it's not as if we have to go chasing goals or whatever. We have to win the game of football tomorrow, and if we do that, then it gives us a chance to get through. And I think that's got to be the main aim for starters. And then we'll, you know, the lads are really good at feeling within the game. You know, if you're on top, you keep on top, and then we've probably not been good enough this season at killing teams off. You know, I think Sunday we weren't good enough at, you know, when we were on top to kill Tottenham off, and then we gave them confidence, and then they believed that they could get something and they ended up getting it. So I think we need to be better at that, and, you know, hopefully we can do that tomorrow. If we do get on top, then we stay on top, and, you know, hopefully we're the ones going through.
First place. Thank you.
Yeah, I think obviously, you know, we've obviously been beat off them twice already this season, but they were also away from home, and, you know, obviously credit to the Galatasaray fans. I think they made, you know, a really difficult atmosphere for us both games over there. But now it's our turn to be at home, and I think, you know, we've always been a different team at home, and hopefully we can show that tomorrow night. But in terms of certain players, I think as a team, Galatasaray are a very strong team. I think they have quality all over the pitch. They have pace up front. They look secure at the back. They've got a hard working midfield. So it's about us just winning our battles, trying to be better against the player you're up against, and if we do that, then I believe the quality we've got in our squad is enough to shine through, and if that happens, then, you know, I believe the goals will come, and we can win the game.
Next one.
Yeah, I think the advantage for them in that game was obviously they had their home support behind them, and, you know, they reacted off that, and, you know, I think they created, you know, really difficult atmosphere and things like that, but also the players produced two really good performances, and I think we were below par in both games, and I don't think tomorrow we can afford to be below par. I think we have to be, you know, better in the two games that we've already played, and if we do that, then I believe, you know, we can show the real Liverpool that we've shown at times this season. And you know, that's a difficult team to play against. So we have to show that tomorrow night, and if we do that, then I believe we've got more than enough quality in our changing room to, you know, to flip this tie.